And Coach, while we wait on any questions, if you could please take a minute to comment on your team as they enter Saturday's game versus Mississippi State.
Well, the big emphasis for us is to, pay attention to detail, learn from the mistakes that we made, and, get back to playing winning football and, just get better execution in what we're doing. We're obviously going to play a really good team in Mississippi State. Coach Leach has a great offense, great quarterback, very aggressive on defense. So this is going to be a challenging game for us.
First, we'll go to David Pascal, the Chattanooga Times Free Press.
Hey, Nick, I know after last year's Texas A&M game, you mentioned that you got a bruise on your arm. I was wondering, did you get away Saturday unscathed?
It was, I did. It was a pretty difficult situation, but I didn't. I had about 3 bruises, but I don't have any after this one.
And I know you've already mentioned, you've already commented on the Jermaine Burton situation, but, the league 6 or 7 years ago increased the penalty, the financial penalty. Is there anything you'd like to see changed in situations like that? Because I guess like your last 6 road losses in the SEC, I think have all resulted in field stormings. Is there anything you would change on that front?
Well, I think it's a difficult situation. It's a difficult situation for the league. It's a difficult situation for, all of us that are in this situation. So, we certainly don't condone, any mistreatment of anybody, whether they should or shouldn't be there. I think you got to have respect for other people, but at the same time, it's a difficult situation for all of us.
Thank you.
Next is Michael Casagrande of AL.com.
Yeah, Nick, I just wonder if there's any update on Tyler Harrell's status in his recovery.
Yeah, he's been practicing. He actually was available for the last game. He's getting more and more reps, more and more comfortable with, what he's doing. And, there's a possibility that, he's getting to the point where, we can start to use him some.
It was a foot injury for him?
Well, if he's getting reps and doing everything, then, what's that?
So it was a foot injury that was keeping him out.
Look, I'm not giving specific details on everybody's injuries, but he was out, so what makes a difference?
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Blake Topmeyer of the USA Today Network.
Hey, Nick, you guys have played in tough road environments before, and obviously you've played at Neyland Stadium before. I'm wondering, was there anything different about that environment on Saturday?
Well, we played in lots of tough environments on the road, and I thought offensively, except for a couple false starts, we did a pretty good job of handling the situation. And I think that's where it's difficult. I think our players, need to focus on, what they have to do to be aggressive, to, play winning football regardless of what the circumstances are. And I don't think we did that great. But I think that's something that's our issue that we need to learn from. But, it's great stadiums in the SEC. There's a lot of passion by a lot of fans, and there was a lot of passion in that game.
Thanks.
Next is Ken Segura of the AJC.
Hey, Nick, I want to ask you a question about one of your former assistants, Brent Key. In the 3 years he was with you, did you see kind of indications that he would be a successful head coach if he got a chance?
Well, he's the offensive line coach when he was here. He did a really good job. Did a good job of recruiting, developed relationships with people. I thought he was demanding on his players. I thought he communicated well. I'm sure he's developed, further with the experiences he's had since then. There's not a lot of if you have somebody that's in a responsibility position like a coordinator, it's a little bit easier to judge because they're in a leadership position for a whole group as to whether they would be able to take the next step and be a head coach. But sometimes that's a hard hard judgment to make if a guy's just an assistant coach. But I think he's got all the ingredients to develop into being one.
Thank you.
Next is Chip Howard of KZNE.
Nick, you've talked before about how difficult it is to go through a season undefeated. You've won many championships with one-loss teams. How does this team compare to some of those other teams and where you are at this stage of the season?
Well, I don't like to compare teams, but I can say that, we haven't played with the kind of consistency that I'd like to see our team play with, and be interesting to see how we respond, to a loss and learn from the mistakes that we made, and so that we can play with more consistency by having a little more discipline, a little more attention to detail, and play to win. Have an aggressive attitude and a positive attitude about, what you need to do to go out and prepare yourself so that you can play that kind of football. And if we respond to that, I believe in the team that we have. So, I think they're capable, but, having the capacity to do something and the capability of doing it is two different things. And I think we need to, work on our capability of playing with more consistency.
Thank you.
Next is Glenn Gilbo of Outkick.
Most of your team's national championships after you lost a game. I'm thinking you probably don't say, "Hey guys, we could still win it." What do you usually? Have you ever said that after a loss for the rest of the season, or what do you usually say?
Well, we try to play one game at a time, and I think it goes without saying that players know that, we lost a game in the East. I think it goes without saying. I don't think I have to say it that, playing in your division is really, really important. You can't afford to lose games in your division and still have a chance to get in the SEC championship game. And, our goal here is to, play with a team full of guys that are, champions. They're doing the right things. They buy into the principles and buy into the organization, do what you're supposed to do to the standard you're supposed to do it to, be positive, have fun, be responsible to do your job. And, those things are the things that we're trying to focus on. And if we can do those things well, we may have a chance.
Thanks.
Next is Nick Alvarez of AL.com.
Yeah, Nick, I was just wondering, you and a couple of the other players have mentioned kind of an attention to detail on the little things and small things this week, and trying to keep it consistent and clean it up after last week's performance. How do you think the team's responded to that so far during the week?
I think they've responded well to it. The players, I know a lot of people are disappointed, in the results of the game, but I don't think anybody's as disappointed as we are internally, players, coaches. So we're all working hard to try to get it right, and they've responded fairly well.
That's all of your time today, Coach. Thank you.